What is micturition? When the urinary bladder gets filled with urine, the stretch receptors of urinary bladder initiates a signal to central nervous system, that is brain and spinal cord, which are included under central nervous system. That stretch receptors will initiate a signal to that system when it is filled with urine. The central nervous system then passes the message to initiate the contraction of the smooth muscles or detrusor muscle of the urinary bladder, and also the same time the urinary sphincter will be relaxed. This process of release of urine is called micturition. It is under the neural mechanism that is called micturition reflex. If stretch receptors are removed from the urinary bladder, what happens? There will be frequent, micturition reflex will not be there, will not be functional. Then what happens? Urine will be continuously, frequently discharging into the urethra from the urinary bladder. And the constituents of urine are, it consists of 96% of water, 2% of urea, and 2% dissolved substances. An adult human being will excrete urine about 1 to 1.5 liters of urine per day. It will be yellow, light yellow in color, and the pH of urine is 6. And how much of urea will be excreted per day means 25 to 35 grams of urea. This is very important for NEET. Coming to disorders associated with urine and malfunctioning of the kidney, if glucose is present in urine, that is called glycosuria, and if ketone bodies are present in urine, it is called ketonuria. Glycosuria generally is because of diabetes mellitus, that is due to hyposecretion of insulin by the pancreas. The glucose will be more, it will not be converted into glycogen. Then you will see the glucose in urine, or there may be some defect in the absorption of glucose in the tubular part of the nephron also. We have to find out the underlying reason. Ketone bodies generally appear during fasting also. And the abnormal constituents of the urine is, when you do the urine test, if protein albumin is present, there must have been injury to the renal tract. That means that large protein also has been filtered, that is glomerulonephritis. And if bile salts and bile pigments are present in the urine, that indicates jaundice. And if glucose is present, as we mentioned earlier, diabetes mellitus. And if creatinine is present in urine, it indicates hyperthyroidism, and it may be due to starvation also. And role of other organs in excretion, that means which are accessory excretory organs, are lungs, liver, skin, in addition to the kidneys. So here the lungs will excrete large amounts of CO2, like 200 ml per minute, and also significant quantities of water also eliminated every day. And liver is the largest gland of our body. It eliminates cholesterol and bile pigments, and bile carries these cholesterol and bile pigments into intestine. Then it will be eliminated through the fecus. And coming to skin, skin consists of sweat, and sebaceous glands are present in the skin, so which secrete sweat and sebum. And here in the form of the sweat, NaCl and urea will be, small amount of urea will also be eliminated, and it gives cooling effect to the body. Its main function is that one. And sebum consists of sterols and waxes, and it gives protective oily covering to the skin also. Coming to disorders of excretory system, if the kidneys malfunctioning of kidneys are due to accumulation of urea. That urea accumulation in blood is called uremia, which is very harmful in case of kidney failure. Then the person must undergo hemodialysis. Removal of urea from the blood is hemodialysis, and blood from patient is taken from the radial artery, which is generally the artery which supplies to the forearm and the hand. And the blood will be cooled down to 0 degrees centigrade, and it will be mixed with the heparin. And then it passes pumped into the artificial kidney, that is apparatus, and then blood flows through the tubes bounded by cellophane membrane, which is selectively permeable membrane. It is impermeable to macromolecules like plasma proteins, and it will be permeable only to urea, uric acid, and creatinine and mineral ions. So this cellophane membrane, cellophane membrane, it separates the blood flowing in the tube and also the dialyzing fluid which is present outside the tube. And the dialyzing fluid consists of small solutes and mineral ions, but not urea like nitrogenous waste. So the waste will diffuse into the dialyzing fluid according to the concentration gradient, depending upon the concentration gradient. So blood will be removed out of nitrogenous waste, blood is cleared of nitrogenous waste, and again it is pumped to the major vein. This is called dialysis. It is a process of separating small solutes from macromolecules and also nitrogenous waste from macromolecules with the help of selectively permeable membrane. The blood coming out of the artificial kidney is warmed to body temperature and it is mixed with antiheparin and to restore its normal coagulability and return to its to the vein of the patient. And hemodialysis is the process which saves and prolongs life of many uremia patients. So hemodialysis, when we coming to the notes, hemodialysis, the blood will be taken from the artery, cooled down to 0 degree centigrade, mixed with heparin, pumped into artificial kidney apparatus, and then blood flows through tubes bounded by cellophane membrane, which is impermeable to macromolecules like plasma proteins, permeable to urea, uric acid, creatinine, and nitrogenous waste and mineral ions. The cellophane membrane separates the blood flowing in tubes and also outside the dialyzing fluid, which consists of small solutes and mineral ions, but not urea at any cost. And so waste will diffuse through the membrane into the dialyzing fluid, follows the concentration gradient. So blood is cleared of nitrogenous waste, that is called so it is called dialysis. And next, it is a process of separating small solutes from macromolecules with the help of selectively permeable membrane. The blood coming out of the artificial kidney is warmed to body temperature and mixed with antiheparin to restore its normal coagulability. It's normally the blood should be again coagulated, no clotting when the wound is made. So it is mixed with antiheparin, returned to the vein of the patient. Hemodialysis, it saves and prolongs life of many uremia patients. Now coming to the kidney transplantation. The kidney transplantation is the ultimate thing in case of kidney failure. In case of kidney failure, acute renal failure, during acute renal failure, kidney transplantation is the ultimate thing we have to do. And for this, functional kidney from a donor, preferably the closest relative, blood from him, the functional kidney should be taken, and so to minimize rejection by the immune system of the host. Immune system protects actually from the disease by attacking the anything entering into the body. It will attack a kidney that appears as foreign body. So special drugs to suppress this immunity, like anti-immune drugs, are helpful. Anti-immunoglobulins. Okay, renal calculi, those are called anti-immunoglobulins. Renal calculi means the stones are the insoluble mass of crystallized salts that consists of calcium oxalate formed within the kidney. And glomerulonephritis is the inflammation of the glomerula of the kidney. So this is about all excretory system of human being.